Welcome to Module 6 of this course of going through the foundations of 40 Plus Fit, which is helping us all to just get back into that healthy lifestyle of living. We hope you've enjoyed the course so far, and let's jump over to Twain.
Awesome. So this is module 6 where we're going to be talking about exercising for smarties. Let me just share my screen and there you go. Okay. So I put in the exercising for smarties. If you had seen our previous module on nutrition, you would get the smarties reference just because I don't think all of you are dumb, so you're not dummies. But here's what you need to know about exercise to kind of get you started, especially if you're somebody that's just wanting to try get back into moving and feeling better. So we're going to just start off this first lesson here really quickly with the introduction on why exercise matters, especially after 40. Now, a lot of times we think about exercise and, what pops up is people think about PTs with, super ripped abs and being super muscular and telling you, hey, if I can do it, you can do it too. And while there's truth that exercise supports, weight loss, muscle gain, I think the key thing for a lot of us that are getting to that age where we are really embracing the 40 plus kind of life, the key here is about overall health and quality of health. So exercise actually helps with a lot of other factors here, as you can see, brain health, preservation, heart health, cancer risk reduction, general metabolic syndromes reduction risk as well, bone strength, and very importantly, also balance and coordination. And that's why I put down there in the bottom in caps, it's super important to your quality of life. Now, nutrition is probably going to help you very much with the quantity of your life. It can help you extend the duration of your life. But what is a life that is long, but fraught with all these diseases, fraught with all these issues where you can barely walk, barely move? So exercise is super important to help you preserve that. So the question always pops up in terms of like what type of exercise to do, because when you talk to the normal person, most people would just say, "Oh, I play some soccer with my friends, right? That's exercise. I run and jog, that's exercise as well." And yes, there's no doubt that there are many types of exercise. It's a huge umbrella term, but there's different types of exercises that give different benefits. So it's important to understand which ones give what benefits so you can actually put together a reasonable exercise plan that will actually get you healthier and fitter. Again, to that big goal of quality of life. So in that regard, resistance training is probably the most popular concept of exercise that a lot of people have. And basically that is anything to do with training your muscles to help strengthening the muscles, the bones, and the connective tissues. The popular one is obviously lifting weights, going to the gym, things like that, but it's not limited to that as only. The other aspect of exercise that's very popular is what we call cardiovascular training, or shortened to cardio. It basically helps with strengthening the heart, helping your heart to supply oxygen to the rest of your body, such that you can maintain a certain level of intensity and energy and action that you might be participating in. The last part of exercise here, I would kind of classify under flexibility and mobility. This actually includes strengthening and balancing work. Now, the strengthening here is kind of different from resistance training strengthening in that this strengthening is more about the strengthening of neurological control and coordination. A lot of this is stuff like, and it's very low intensity. That means it's not actively straining and overloading the muscles as you would in a resistance training concept. And that's stuff like yoga and Pilates. So it's still difficult or it's still hard to do, but it doesn't necessarily train or strengthen the muscles, beyond a certain point. So obviously with exercise, you have to choose based on the immediate priority because why? Time is the most important limiting factor that many of you will be having. Ideally, we want a combination kind of approach where you integrate your strength training, your cardio, you add in flexibility, mobility work. That would be like a dream. But depending on what you need and what your goals are, this might differ. And so, if weight loss is the main goal, which I think for a large percentage of our audience, that seems to be the case, it might be important to actually prioritize cardio over resistance work at the start. And notice I put that at the start because these things will change as you make progress. So, what is a guideline here that I can give? Very simply, if you take your waist height ratio Basically, you take your waist circumference and you divide it by your height, you will get a certain ratio. If that ratio is more than 0.5, then you likely will need to focus on weight loss because you are likely to have excessive fat around the belly, which we need to kind of reduce. Obviously, a large part of the reduction comes from nutrition, but when you're exercising at this point, at this stage, I think you can actually get a multitude of benefits from just doing basic cardio activities and getting more movement in. In that sense, that will already kind of strengthen up the body. If you're going for general health, and again, your waist height ratio is probably, less than 0.5, then maybe a half cardio, half resistance work might be the best starting point, especially if you're a complete beginner. So with that in mind, I'm going to end this lesson and I'll see you in the next lesson where we'll talk about resistance training.